Market mood check with me, Nandita Khemka. Well, as we speak, the Nifty is just about to break in the green. It was a wobbly start for the index. In fact, at one point we slipped below that 19,600 mark, but right now we have reclaimed that 19,650 mark and just about 2 to 3 points down and about to break into the green. Mid and small cap indices, they are showing strength. In fact, the mid cap index was up somewhere around 0.5%, and the small cap index was continuing its outperformance from yesterday and was up somewhere around 0.6% or thereabouts. If you look at the breadth, market breadth, that is tilted in favor of gainers. So the NSE advanced decline ratio was almost in the ratio of 1:1. And what's lending support to the index is, of course, the pharma pack, realty pack, PSU banks. These are some of the sectoral gainers today. On the flip side, you have the likes of private banks, autos. These are under pressure. If you look at cues coming out of global markets, they were pretty muted, but Nomura has upgraded Indian equities to overweight from neutral, and that is something that is supporting sentiment today. In fact, among their top picks, they have named the likes of ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, L&T, RIL, and ITC. In fact, they believe that the discomfort that we are seeing from the surge in crude prices could be a good buying opportunity for Indian equities, and this comfort may not last very long. So this could be the right time to buy into equities. That's what Nomura has to say about Indian markets. But moving on, if you look at some of the individual gainers on the Nifty, Coal India, Cipla, Dr. Reddy's, Adani Ports and L&T are among them. And on the losing end, you have Bajaj Finance, you have some of the private banks like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank under pressure yet again. You have Tata Steel, Grasim, these are some of the other losers. Let's talk about the IT space. Then we have a Morgan Stanley report, an upbeat report on the IT sector, which is why we are seeing some of these IT stocks, recovering from days low. So it has upgraded target prices on the likes of TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech. Even though it has downgraded Tech Mahindra, it has still upped its target on that stock. It has a positive view on the IT space, given the fact that the outlook on FY25 revenues remains robust, even though of course the coming quarters could be a little painful when it comes to some of these IT giants. Cyient is one stock that Morgan Stanley is preferring in the mid cap IT space, so that stock was also in focus. And aside of that, if you look at Vedanta, that stock was under pressure given the fact that Moody's has downgraded the corporate family rating of its parent on the back of debt restructuring. It believes that there is no meaningful update or progress on refinancing of its debt maturities, especially the January 2024 that's just coming up. So on the back of that, it has downgraded the corporate family rating of Vedanta Resources. Outlook remains negative. Aside from that, Nestle in focus, given the fact that UBS has downgraded the stock, even though it has raised target price by about somewhere around 6.5% or thereabouts. It says that rich valuations are limiting upside for the stock per se, but the long-term outlook on growth and revenues remains positive. Aside from that, if you look at the mid-cap end of the markets, what's in focus today is Suzlon, given the fact that Dilip Shanghvi and Associates have ended or terminated the 2015 pact that it had signed with the company. In fact, there was a refurbished pact which was signed in 2020 as well, but now it has been terminated, and but Dilip Shanghvi has maintained that he will remain an investor in the company, and the company itself has said that it will not impact operations going forward. Remember, Suzlon has turned around, given the fact that its focus on retiring debt, and it has been winning quite a few orders as well. So it has been a remarkable turnaround for Suzlon, and the stock is also, I think gained somewhere around 100 to 200% if you look at the stock, on a 1 year to 2 year basis. Aside of that, what's in focus today is AB Capital. Jefferies has initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating, target price of 215 per share. In fact, it believes that the company is poised to double its profit in the next 3 years. Aside of that, PNB and REC are gaining on the back of an MOU signed for power and infra projects. You have Pratap Snacks. That stock has slumped on the back of GST officials visiting its Bengaluru manufacturing unit. HCG, Healthcare Global, is soaring on reports that CVC Capital may be looking to sell its controlling stake in the company. Aside from that, Manappuram Finance, that stock is also up somewhere around 5% or thereabouts. CNBC TV18 says that Elizabeth Matthew has bought somewhere around 0.5% stake in the company, in a block deal. So that's weighing in. In fact, that's boosting sentiment for the stock. And of course, I think ED has also been directed to unfreeze the assets that were freezed 3 weeks ago. So that's also boosting sentiment for the stock. Actually, Glasscoat, that stock is also up given the fact that DSP Microcap Fund has bought somewhere around 3.5% stake in the company. Aside of that, we had two new listings today. Sai Silks, a muted debut 4% premium to its issue price, but Signature Global had a good listing pop, 15% premium to its issue price. It is where it listed at. Aside of that, if you look at some of the other Nifty 500 gainers, you have the likes of Foodco, REC, PFC, Manappuram, as I mentioned. Actually, Glasscoat, that's the top mover on the Nifty 500 index. On the flip side, Trent, Rallis, HPCL, Kenna Metal, Gujarat Gas are some of the laggards on the Nifty 500 index. In fact, oil marketing companies are under pressure given the fact that crude, it has inched closer to that $95 per barrel mark. Well, that was all the market action. In the second half, we will see whether or not we can build on the kind of recovery that we have seen on an intraday basis, and whether we can shut shop above that 19,650 mark or not. So that's something we'll be keeping a track on in the second half of the session. So of course, come back and join us on the closing bell at 3:30 p.m. and we'll be talking about the markets as well as some of the stocks that will be on our radar this afternoon. But for now, we're done with this midday market mood check. Thanks a lot for tuning in. For all your other news and updates, stay tuned to Money Control.